Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. My name is Mohammed and I will always believe. Today I am going to tell you a session of Chatgpt. So let's start. He says success at Okay, ChatGPT. So my first question from you is, what does the word no really mean? Give me long and detailed answer.
Absolutely. So the word no is one of the most fundamental words in language. At its core, it's a simple negation, safe, and shape our relationships. But for some, it's also really hard to say because of fear of rejection, guilt, or social pressure. Does that give you a good foundation?
Okay, ChatGPT. So my next question from you is, why do people feel bad when they hear no? Give me long and detailed answer.
Yeah, that's a really interesting one. People often feel bad when they hear a no because it's tied to a sense of rejection or failure. It can trigger deep emotions like feeling inadequate, unworthy, or even worried about what others think. On a personal level, saying no or hearing it might also bring up old wounds, like times they felt dismissed or powerless. So it's really a complex mix of self worth, social dynamics, and past experiences.
Okay, ChatGPT. So my next question from you is rejection is a normal part of life? Give me long and detailed answer. You are giving me so short answer. Please give me long answer.
Of course. So rejection is actually a really normal and inevitable part of life. We all face it at different points, whether it's in relationships, jobs, or even just everyday interactions. It doesn't mean something is wrong with us. It just means we're navigating a world of differing expectations and boundaries. When we see it as part of growth, like a signal to learn or adjust, we can handle it with more resilience. So it's just a natural step in life's journey.
Okay,
You're
ChatGPT. So my next question from you is, why do we fear rejection so much? Give me long and detailed answer.
Yeah, absolutely. So people fear saying no or hearing it so much because it touches on some really deep psychological needs, like belonging and approval. We naturally want to fit in, be liked, or avoid conflict. And on top of that, fear of a no can trigger worries about missed opportunities or being left out. But the more we practice, the easier it gets because we realize that saying no is just a step toward being more authentic and self respecting.
Okay, ChatGPT. So my next question from you is, does no always mean failure? Give me long and detailed answer.
That's a great question. So, no, not always. While no is a strong boundary, it depends on how it's delivered and the context. Sometimes a no is just a necessary pause, a way to keep focus or avoid overextending. Other times it's a way to assert ourselves in a big, transformative way. So, it's not always about being aggressive, it's about being clear, respectful, and true to yourself.
Okay, ChatGPT. So my next question from you is, why does rejection hurt our feelings? Give me long and detailed answer. You are giving me so short answer. Please give me long and detailed answer.
Yeah, absolutely. Rejection is often so hard because it strikes at the core of how we see ourselves and how we connect with others. From a very young age, we're wired to seek approval and belonging. So when we're rejected, it can feel like a personal failure or a threat to our sense of worth. We also anticipate future consequences like missing out on opportunities or being socially isolated, so the emotional pain is amplified. In short, it's a mix of deep self identity, fear of exclusion, and how vulnerable we feel in that moment.
Okay, ChatGPT, so my next question from you is how can we control our emotion after hurting? No, give me long and detailed answer. You are giving me so short answer. Please give me long and detailed answer.
That's a really valuable question. Controlling our emotions after hearing a no takes practice, but it's definitely possible. First, we need to pause and acknowledge what we're feeling without judging ourselves. Then we can reframe the rejection by reminding ourselves that it's not a reflection of our worth, but just one outcome. Deep breathing helps, as does giving ourselves space, like a walk or a short meditation. And over time, we can build resilience by seeing each no as just one step in a larger journey, an opportunity to learn and keep going.
Okay, ChatGPT. So my next question from you is why do some people take rejection personally? Give me long and detailed answer. ChatGPT, you are giving me so short answer. Please give me long and detailed answer.
Yeah, definitely. So some people take rejection personally because of how they've internalized past experiences. If someone has grown up in environments where their value is tied to approval, or if they've faced frequent rejections before, each new no can feel like confirmation of those old fears. Also, when we tie our worth to success or external validation, a rejection can feel like a threat to who we are. So it's often a combination of self esteem, early experiences, and how we interpret those moments that makes it feel so personal.
Okay, ChatGPT. So my next question from you is can rejection affect our condition? Give me long and detailed answer. You are giving the short answer. Please give me long and detailed answer.
Of course. So, one of the most powerful ways to overcome that is by building self awareness and separating the rejection from your core value. When we practice self compassion, like speaking to ourselves as we would a friend, we remind ourselves that everyone faces setbacks. It also helps to reframe the rejection as a signal, not a verdict, something that can guide you to new paths or growth rather than defining your worth. And over time, as you see rejections as just part of learning, they lose their power over you.
Okay, ChatGPT. So my next question from you is can we stay positive after rejection? Give me long and detailed answer. You are giving the short answer. Please give me long and detailed answer.
Absolutely. Staying positive after rejection is definitely possible, but it takes intentional steps. First, give yourself time to feel the disappointment. Don't suppress it, just acknowledge it. Then reframe the situation by focusing on what you've learned or what other opportunities might arise. Surround yourself with supportive people who remind you of your strengths. You can also set small positive goals, things that are within your control to keep building momentum. Over time, you'll see that each rejection doesn't define you. It just propels you toward the next step and a clearer sense of purpose.
Okay, ChatGPT. So my next question from you is can no help us grow a passion? Give me long and detailed answer. You are giving me so short answer. Please give me long and detailed answer.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, saying no can be really empowering and even protect us from deeper disappointment. When we set boundaries with a firm no, we prevent ourselves from overextending or saying yes out of obligation. This in turn reduces stress and helps us conserve our emotional energy. By choosing no, we're actually choosing ourselves, our needs, our time, and our sense of balance. So far from being a barrier, it can be a gateway to greater self respect and ultimately more fulfillment.
Okay, ChatGPT. So my next question from you is, what lesson can we learn from rejection? Give me long and detailed answer.
Yes, definitely. So, saying no and facing rejection can actually teach us some profound lessons. First, it helps us clarify what we truly want, because every no creates space for a yes that actually aligns with us. It also shows us that failure or rejection isn't a full stop, it's a step on the path, teaching us resilience. And by saying no, we also learn to protect our time, our mental health, and our values. So, rejection pushes us to grow, to know ourselves better, and to stay true to our direction, even when it's tough.
तेरा बिहार नहीं रहेगी बस मेरा 100 का रह गया प्लस
Okay, ChatGPT. So my next question from you is, how can rejection make us stronger? Give me long and detailed answer. You are giving me so short answer. Please give me long and detailed answer.
Of course. So, one of the strongest things we can do after rejection is to see it as a redirection, not a dead end. When we feel that initial sting, we can remind ourselves that every no is a course correction, is guiding us towards something better suited for us. By staying present, practicing self compassion, and keeping a growth mindset, we turn rejection into a teacher. We learn patience, we strengthen our resilience, and we remember that each no doesn't define us, it prepares us for a future yes that really matters.
Okay, ChatGPT. So my next question from you is, should we try again after heading no? Give me long and detailed answer.
That's a really important question, and the answer depends on the situation. After a no, it's crucial to reflect. Was it a firm no or just a temporary setback? If it was a closed door, trying again might not be productive right away, but if it was a not now, or if circumstances change, then yes, trying again can be a sign of perseverance. Just make sure you're adjusting, learning from the experience, and staying true to yourself. So sometimes, yes, we try again.
जगह है लगाने की है
न्यू वीडियो चेक कर कितने लाइक है
Okay, ChatGPT. So my next question from you is, what is the difference between rejection and failure? Give me long and detailed answer.
That's a really thoughtful distinction to make. Rejection and failure are related, but they aren't the same. Rejection is an external decision. It's when someone or something says no to us. It might be a applicant assessment. It's when we feel we didn't meet a goal or standard we set for ourselves. Rejection is often outside our control, while failure is sometimes how we interpret our own actions. The key difference is that rejection doesn't define us. It's just one person's or one situation's verdict. Failure, though, is something we can learn from. If we take the time to analyze, adapt, and keep going, we can use both rejection and failure to grow stronger and stay aligned with our goals.
Okay, ChatGPT. So my next question from you is: Have successful people feared rejection? Give me long and detailed answer.
Absolutely. So people who are more resilient tend to see rejection as a temporary hurdle, not a reflection of their worth. They focus on what they can control, like their effort, their response, and what they learn from it. They also tend to maintain a growth mindset, believing that setbacks are just part of the process, not a final verdict. In contrast, people who struggle with resilience might take rejection as a personal failure, ruminating on it and assuming it defines their future. But with practice, by staying mindful, seeking support, and keeping perspective, people can build that resilience, bounce back stronger, and stay hopeful.
Okay, ChatGPT. So my next question from you is: How did famous people handle rejection? Give me long and detailed answer.
That's a really powerful topic. Many famous people actually face significant rejection early in their careers. For example, Walt Disney was once told he lacked imagination and was fired. J.K. Rowling was rejected by dozens of publishers before Harry Potter took off. Even Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. What they all had in common was persistence. Instead of seeing rejection as a stop sign, they used it as a fuel, an opportunity to refine their craft, stay focused, and prove their worth. Over time, their resilience and refusal to give up allowed them to succeed beyond the initial rejection, showing that setbacks are often just the starting point for a bigger success.
Okay, ChatGPT. So my next question from you is: How can a student handle rejections in exams or competition? Give me long and detailed
Of
answer.
course, handling rejection with self compassion is really key. First, allow yourself to feel the disappointment. Don't suppress it, but don't let it define you either. After that, remind yourself that rejection is just one moment, not a verdict on your value. Then focus on what you can control, your next steps, your growth, and your self care. Seek support from trusted people. And remember that every rejection is just a chance to refine your path, not a dead end. In this way, you grow stronger, more grounded, and more ready for the next opportunity.
Okay, ChatGPT. So my next question from you is how do we deal with rejection in friendship? Give me long and detailed answer.
That's a really delicate area. When we face rejection in friendships, it can feel just as personal as in other parts of life. The first step is to acknowledge your feelings. It's okay to be hurt. Then try to communicate honestly, but without blame. Ask if something is off, but be prepared that it might not be about you. At the same time, keep your boundaries healthy. If a friendship naturally drifts, that's okay. Focus on the friendships that are reciprocal and supportive, and trust that with time, you'll find people who value you for who you are.
Okay, ChatGPT. So my next question from you is if someone say no to other or help of offer, give me long and detailed answer.
Yeah, that's a really important part of the process. When we forgive after rejection, it's not about excusing what happened, but releasing ourselves from that weight. Forgiveness frees us from bitterness and lets us reclaim our peace. It's a process. We have to name the hurt, give ourselves time, and choose to let go of the anger. When we forgive, we don't have to forget, but we do lighten our emotional load. And in doing so, we create space for healthier relationships and a sense of freedom inside ourselves.
Okay, ChatGPT. So my next question from you is why is it important to accept rejection gratefully? Give me long and detailed answer. You are giving me short answer. Please give me long and detailed answer. Give me long.
Absolutely. Acceptance is a crucial step after rejection because it allows us to stop fighting against what we can't control. When we accept rejection, we acknowledge reality. This didn't work out, and that's okay. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up, it means releasing resistance so we can focus on what's next. It also reduces the emotional burden. Instead of staying stuck in what didn't happen, we're free to learn, adapt, and realign our goals. By accepting, we give ourselves permission to grieve, yes, but also to grow. And ultimately, it opens the door to new possibilities that we might not have seen before.
So this is my interview from ChatGPT. I hope you all like it. See you in my next ChatGPT interview. Till then, Allah, Pakistan, Zindabad.